Everything good to go.
Okay, all right. And when we go to approve the agenda, I have an adjustment we need to make. And I'll
Okay.
share that. So I know Mr. Manning is on his way. Mashika is here. Miss James is here. Sean is probably driving in from work. Dr. Jackson's in the building somewhere. I'm not sure where she is.
Should we give it a couple more minutes to start?
Yes, hold on a second. Let me see if I can get these people on. All right, Ryan, I guess we better get started.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, good evening, everyone. So welcome to Tumor's GoTeam Meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noticed. So I'd like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. For members of the Go Team, please identify yourself when you speak. And I'm pleased to call this meeting of the Tumors Go Team to order at 5:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on September 24th, 2024. Our first order of business will be the roll call. The secretary will now take the roll. Is
Frank,
Sec is Secretary Greenberg here?
who did we nominate? That's
Miss Greenberg, but I don't see her on here.
right. That's what I thought we did.
So in that situation, do I take the role as the chair?
Yeah,
You can.
Okay,
So
perfect. So then let me pull up our names real quick. Okay,
But Ryan, I can do the minutes.
okay.
Oh, let me switch a machine right here. Okay, I'm taking roll. Caroline Brown, that's me. Sean Garrett,
Present.
Dominique James,
Present.
Emily Seagull,
Present.
Nicole Hayes, Deborah Jackson, Ryan Augustine,
Present.
Yashima Primrose,
Present.
and Jamie Manning.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Thank you, Jamie.
All right, this team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. So is there a quorum present at this time?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 9, yes.
Okay. So with the fact that, we'll move on to our action items. So our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you and copies are here. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I do have one, but I don't see, I have identified our parent. I was gonna nominate her to the Go Team, but I actually don't see her today. So I am going to not do that. And then, go ahead, Diane.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, y'all. If you have confirmation from her, Principal Brown, you can nominate her and the team could appoint her today if you have confirmation that she's willing to accept the position.
Well, I do have several confirmations and Katie talked to her 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
But I kind of don't like putting somebody on the Go Team if they change their mind and didn't tell me.
Okay, that's fine. I
Right.
completely understand.
So, and then Diane, we have that one other change where we had too many instructional staff.
Yeah,
We-
so just so y'all know, both Miss Greenberg, even though she has a student in the school, our handbook prohibits a staff member from serving on the team at the school where they're employed.
Hmm.
So Miss Greenberg is welcome to serve in a staff seat, but she couldn't serve in the parent seat, which is why you guys have that vacancy. So your official staff members are Miss Greenberg, Miss Altschuler, Emily, is that you?
Yeah,
Sigo.
that's
Okay.
me. Siga is my married name.
Okay, and Miss Hayes are your official staff members.
Well, so we also have
Um,
Debriah Jackson.
she is not on the team according to our records. I believe that if I recall correctly in looking at what you all had from your organizational meeting, is you had put Miss Greenberg in a parent seat and then filled Miss Greenberg's vacancy with that other instructor. So if there was no instructor seat for that other teacher to go into at the time.
Got you. So how many instructional staff are we supposed to have?
You're supposed to have 3. So you have Miss Greenberg, Miss Emily, and Miss Nicole Hayes. And then in the swing seat, you have Manning.
So
Oh.
what apparently they want to happen is Dr. Hayes has stepped off, and the goal was to leave space for Seago, Greenberg, and Jackson to serve as staff members.
Okay, so if Hayes is going to step off, she was elected by her peers a year and a half ago
Right,
And so if she no longer wishes to serve, we would need her resignation
okay,
from the team. And then that would create a vacancy to then which you could then nominate somebody to fill that vacancy.
okay, we'll do that.
Okay.
So,
Because
but
my,
I'm making a note, well, Dr. Hayes is not here. I don't have her present to resign. So I'm moving this to the first action item in our next meeting.
okay.
Is that okay?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah,
I don't have a written resignation. So, so Dr. Jackson, you're not a member of the Go team until we create a space.
Okay, so I'll see y'all later.
All right,
All right, bye-bye.
bye. Thank you, Diane.
you're welcome.
Okay, so so then, Ryan, I don't have any changes to the agenda as I'm not looking at people. So we should just move on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As acting, secretary, we still have a quorum.
Okay, great. Any other changes to the agenda that people want to bring up? Okay. Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye, so the secretary can record your vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Please say abstain. Okay, the ayes have it. So the next, we will review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you. Are there any corrections? Okay. Hearing none, if there are no further corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
Motion.
Motion to
A second?
second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed,
Aye.
please say nay. Any anyone abstaining? Okay. The ayes have it, and the secretary will record this results.
Um,
Okay, so we're not gonna do the parent position.
right.
Okay. So we will now move to the discussion items for our agenda. Okay, do you want to start with the Zoom only as approved by the APS charter?
Yes, I do. So, the APS charter, approves the use of Zoom only for GoTeam meetings. We had Diane verify that for us. And so I guess open regular procedures and things at the state level, there clearly was an adjustment for our charter. So it is in there that we can do this. Does that sit all right with you, Sean?
Um, in all honesty, I have not had an opportunity to go through it, so at the moment have no objections. And if it is a statewide, I don't even think that we would need to have a vote to authorize it. It would simply just be this is APS policy, and here we are.
So Diane, do we need to do that and have it in the minutes?
I don't see that you need to have it in the minutes because it is part of our contract with the state that allows Go teams to meet in the virtual space. And so the state DOE and APS, the state DOE and all of their people and our legal department all said, okay, so I don't know that you need to do anything else special because it's already in that it's already in the contract that you can do this. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
I concur with that analysis. I mean, if that's part of it, then yeah, that assuages all my fears. I simply did not want to be committing open meetings violations, so shouldn't be a problem.
and I really appreciate that, Sean. I can't tell you how much, but yeah, it is a specific line item and call out in the charter that we have with the state that allows our local school governance teams to meet wholly in the virtual space.
Okay.
Great. So in that case, I guess point of order, would I have someone motion to end discussion since we don't have to actually have this as an item?
I don't know. Do we have to motion around discussions? I think we have. No, Diane.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that the discussion simply concludes and then we move on to the next item.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Next,
Um,
that's great. So anyone else want to bring anything up on that before we move on to the next item? Okay, hearing none, let's move to the next one, which is data discussion.
okay, so I've actually changed the pacing that the district has suggested. Let me bring out what we do have to do today. And we have to work through this school uniform piece. But so I have a PowerPoint presentation I would like to share with y'all. Okay, so the big topic today is the school uniform conversation. I also have the enrollment and leveling information. So in a short nutshell, in the last probably 3 years, the district has been at the board level discussing changing the dress code policy at APS. So it is very clear and concise, which is what it is. And so with that, it throws out our school uniform requirements without going through the GoTeam. So in elementary school, a school uniform is adopted upon the agreement of the principal and a majority vote of the school governance team. So here is the Board of Ed policy. The Board of Ed policy, and the requirements is non-see-through fabric, bottom of non-see-through shoes, and undergarments that are not visible. The only restrictions are words or symbols that are gang-related, sexually suggestive, obscene, or promote illegal behavior. Nothing associated with alcohol or drugs. No flip-flops, athletic slides, or footwear that doesn't support the whole foot. So as soon as you say our policy is khakis and black or yellow shirt, then you're putting some parameters around it that go against the board policy. And so we have to make a change through the GoTeam to do that. These other examples of dress code, we have never had that in our policy. And so that's not for us. I wouldn't venture to tell somebody what to wear to school other than those 4 things that are listed. So effective immediately, at no time will students have their instructional time interrupted or be barred from school or class for declining to wear the optional school uniform. Now at Toomer, just to bring you up to date, that has never been our stance. I have never rewarded uniforms. I have never called it out. I have never awarded dojo points for people in uniforms. We have made it an option for parents who wish to participate. The staff participates on Monday. And so if the Go team chooses to adopt optional school uniform, it basically would not change what we do at school anyhow. So Ryan, do you see those pages in the drive that talk about a decision on maintaining or adopting optional school uniform?
Let me see. Yes, the script.
Yes.
Yep, let me pull it up right now.
So that's where we are now.
Okay. So we have an important decision to make regarding the continuation or implementation of an optional school uniform. Our goal today is to first decide whether we wish to move forward with this initiative. If we vote in favor of maintaining or exploring the establishment of an optional school uniform, we will then discuss the formation of an advisory committee to help implement and manage the process. If we vote against maintaining or exploring the establishment of an optional school uniform, the school will not have a school uniform in 2025 to 2026, and we will proceed to the next agenda item. Before we begin, Principal Brown, can you provide the team with the background information on this policy change?
Yes, that's what I just did. I got out of order. Sorry,
Perfect.
I jumped the gun there.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll start with step one, motion to maintain or implement an optional school uniform. So thank you for that information. Now we can decide if we want to maintain or explore implementing an optional school uniform. This vote will determine if we move forward with the idea. Is there a motion to maintain or explore implementing an optional school uniform?
Motion.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion has been made and seconded. We will now have a brief discussion. Share any questions or thoughts you have about maintaining or exploring implementation of an optional school uniform.
I just
So,
think it brings a sense of unity and pride in the school when all of the students look the same and they're walking to the same beat of the same drum. It's a sense of community that we have here at Toomer. And just to share a short story, I've had an incident where we lost a kindergarten baby. And the only way we found him was he had made it up to the highway and the older gentleman brought him back. And the only reason why he recognized them was because he knew our school uniforms in that neighborhood. So it's a sense of safety too for me.
thanks so much.
I also find that the school uniform makes it incredibly easy to be able to get kids out the door. There's no argument concerning the appropriateness of clothing choices and whatnot. It simply is, please put this on. All right, now this is on. Let's go to school. And so it provides as little of a distraction. I mean, at least on that front, it's as non-distracting as it can be. And also, it is very easy to be able to simply do this necessary step prior to the academic day beginning. It's also optional. It's not a mandatory. It's not mandatory. People do not have to abide by it. Plus, Fridays are free. I think that it's a great policy, and so I would vote to continue the policy.
And I would like to add that I think it takes away the shame of not having some of the designer clothes and things that some of our kids do have. So those students who wear uniforms, other students aren't picking on them as much for maybe not having designer and name brand. So as he said, it's optional, but I think that is another benefit of not of having the uniforms.
And I also would like to add to, since we are helping to create future leaders, there are a lot of professions that require uniforms. So it also gives them the idea of what a uniform is. It's not a stigma. It can also be a status in some jobs where, example, a doctor's coat, the length of the coat tells you, are they a full doctor or they're in school? So it does set them aside. And kids can also have pride because we've seen them have pride, like he said, in the unification of that uniform. And it's not mandatory. That's a very good thing.
Yeah, Yashika, I was gonna say the same thing. I like the idea that it's optional. It gives parents obviously the option to choose what their kids want to wear, or the kids. Some days my daughter wants to wear the uniform, some days she doesn't. And I enjoy that idea. So I don't see any issues with there being an optional school uniform.
Perfect. Thanks so much for all your thoughts on this. Anyone else have anything they want to bring to the group? Okay. Sounds like we are good to close the discussion and move to the vote. So, all in favor. So, okay, point of order, I guess. As it kind of goes into all in favor, please say A. So, are we voting on moving forward with the optional school uniform?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. So, all in favor, please say aye.
I
Aye.
Okay. All opposed, please say nay. Anyone abstaining? Okay, the ayes have it. So thank you for your votes. The majority of the Go team is in favor of moving forward with maintaining or exploring the implementation of an optional school uniform. Now that we voted to proceed, we will need to establish a school uniform advisory committee. Okay, so step 2, establishing school uniform advisory committee. So this committee will be tasked with recommending the stakeholder engagement plan, school uniform components if a uniform is adopted, time frame the uniform will be in use, and communication plan upon adoption of the uniform. The committee will present a final report for the Go team's consideration. So let's discuss the goals of the committee. The minimum required goals are to, 1, develop a stakeholder engagement plan to receive feedback on implementing a uniform and its components if adopted. Must include a minimum of 20-day public comment period on any proposed uniform. 2, recommend the optional school uniform components. 3, establish the school student voting timeline and process if necessary. 4, determine the length of time the uniform will be in use before reconsideration. And 5, create a communication plan to inform the school community about the optional school uniform if the uniform is adopted. Are there any additional goals we should consider?
Okay, those goals.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. I'm not hearing any other additional goals. So now we will determine who will serve on the committee. The committee will be comprised of up to 3 Go team members, so the committee chair and up to 2 additional members, and must include at least 3 students for high schools and middle schools as outlined by the district, but that doesn't apply to us. And then may include any other members we identify. So we'll need a group of people who are committed to putting in some time and effort to gather feedback, conduct research, and make recommendations. Can I have volunteers from members of the Go team who would like to serve on the committee? As a reminder, we are limited to 3 Go team members on the committee.
I'll
I'll serve.
volunteer, Dominique.
Dominic, I heard you volunteer. Thanks so much.
Mr.
this is
Manning,
Oh, I think I heard a couple other people.
Ms. Primrose,
Ms. Primrose,
okay.
okay.
Yes, Miss Primrose, I would like to serve.
Thank you, Ms. Primrose. Appreciate it. And then I think since I'm the chair, and I'll be honest, that makes me 3, correct? Yes. So we should be good to go.
So, Mr. Augustine, you don't have to chair the committee.
Oh, okay.
You can appoint a chair for the committee.
Okay.
That-
Is there a
so-
third person that would like to do this? Or the two people who volunteer, would you like to be the chair for the committee?
I nominate Dominique.
Dominic, if you're interested, totally understandable, but no pressure, obviously. And
I
sorry.
accept.
Thank you, Ms. James. You'll have, full support of the admin team
Right.
in the process. Like such as how to reach parents, using our methods of communication, all that will be at y'all's disposal.
Thank you, Ms. James. So Ms. James will be the chair for the committee. Ms. Primrose will be on it as well. Is there anyone else that would like to volunteer for this committee?
I volunteer.
All right. Thanks, Kathy. I appreciate it.
Known as Jamie Manning. I don't know why my computer allowed me to say.
All right. So I think we have 3.
Yeah, we
Okay.
usually have, yes.
Principal Brown, could you forward to the next slide, please? Because that's the one that like kind of helps everybody with who's
There we
on
go.
the committee. There you go. Thank you.
Okay. So for elementary schools, are we interested in having students serve on the committee? And if so, how should students be identified?
Once we get our student council, we'll probably use our student council.
Yes, and we also have a student voice committee. We also have a student ambassador committee. So we have 3 different avenues to access student voice to serve on the committee. And so can Mr. Manning add those students at a later date?
So, yes, Principal Brown, with the committee, even today, like if you decide you want additional parents or parents of middle school students or whatever, you don't need to name the exact people. What the Go team can do today is say, we think we need a kindergarten parent and a 5th grade parent additionally on this. We should probably have the social worker, and we should have 3 students that represent 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. I mean, like you guys can frame the criteria for the members and then spend some time finding the members. And then at a future meeting, the committee chair will present a report. Here are our members and they fit the criteria. Does that help frame that for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So does the committee do this work to go after a kindergarten and a 5th grade parent? Diane?
The Go team in forming this committee gets to determine who the members or types of members are.
Gotcha.
You are not, I gave examples. You
Gotcha.
are not bound by that in any way, shape, or form. It was just kind of like how to define who the members might be, because in this moment, you may not know of any names of people willing to serve on the committee, right? And also from the school side, as the committee is thinking about, and you also, Principal Brown, as you're thinking about your leadership team and key people, there might be 1 or 2 of your staff that you think would be a really good voice to lend itself to this work. I will tell you that from our office, we are developing a complete toolkit to help walk these committees through that work. So you guys don't have to create anything. We'll be creating. You can focus on the discussion. But the Go team's job today is to kind of figure out how many people do we want on and what stakeholders are they going to represent.
Okay. So I guess
is that good? We clear? Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
So I guess to two questions we have for are, do we want to include students, which, I think we have, sounds like we have some options for who we could potentially reach out to see if the students would like to join. And then if there's any other individual or groups you want to consider. So I'll open up the floor to discussion for that.
The inclusion of students also helps them become leaders, also makes them feel pride in who they are, who the school is, and actually helps them to start their journey on being active citizens.
Thanks, Ms. Primrose.
Is it?
Jamie, anything? I think I saw your thing lay up. Okay. So it sounds like we have a yes for opening it up to having some students. I think it says at least 3 students. And then do we want to include any other individual groups? So I think a couple examples were parents of different students in different grades. Is that something that that people think we should include, or do we feel comfortable with the group we have right now?
I think that's a good start.
I think so too. I think it's a really good start, and I'm sure as things go on, we could always, if if the committee feels like having additional parents or teachers or something, we could always open it back up. So I think right now makes a good start, and I think I agree with Ms. Primrose about opening up the students, providing them a good little for their information. Okay, so finally, we need to determine the length of time for this committee. So the committee will need to complete its work and bring a recommendation for the full Go Team's consideration in spring semester. So please suggest a termination date for this committee. So this, I guess one question I have when reading this is this spring semester like beginning of spring semester, or is this before the end of the semester?
Be by May 1st.
By May 1st.
Because the timeline that we've built out is we would like everything wrapped up, including any Go Team vote by May 1st, because then that will give schools the entire month of May to communicate out any decision. So that like once you go through everything, if you decide, yes, we're going to have a uniform, the month of May, you can spend making sure that all your families know that in August, when your kids come, that this is the optional uniform, this is what we recommend, this is.
That makes sense. So I want to hand this to the committee I think since y'all 3 are the ones that will be running it, I kind of want to hand it to you to see what dates you feel works best for you.
We already have a Go Team scheduled in the middle of April.
Okay. So aim for the middle of April.
What date, Ms. Brown?
It is
before after spring break.
No, I'm sorry, it's April 22nd.
Okay.
Ms. Primrose, Ms. James, how does that sound for y'all?
Sorry,
That
I was
works for
on mute.
me. Me
Works
too.
for me.
Sorry.
Okay, perfect. So we'll aim for that end of April timeframe. Okay, and then it says, need to remind the team that they will need to vote on the recommendations of the committee in the senior semester, and the school will need time to implement the communication plan, which we just heard. And then we'll note the end date in the notes. And then, okay, I'm going to proceed to vote on the committee assignment resolution. So based on our discussion, I propose the following resolution: that the Tumor Go Team establish a school uniform advisory committee with the goals and members outlined on the resolution, This committee will present its final recommendations to the Go Team no later than April 22nd, correct? And may I have a motion to approve this resolution?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
Is there any additional discussion or questions about this resolution? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. Anyone abstaining? Okay. The ayes have it. Now that we have established the School Uniform Advisory Committee, I will name the chair of the committee, which we've already done. So again, thanks so much to Ms. James for agreeing to be the chair of the committee. The chair would be responsible for setting committee meetings, achieving the goals of the committee, adhering to open meeting laws, and providing regular reports of the committee to the Go team. And I guess I have to say, I named Dominique James to be the chair of the School Uniform Advisory Committee. Do you accept this appointment?
I accept. Sorry.
You're good. So I saw the script down here. I was like, well, we've already done this, but perfect. Okay, this concludes the establishment of our School Uniform Advisory Committee. Again, thanks to everyone who agreed to join the committee. We will post the approved resolution to the Go Team webpage and submit it to district office. Okay. Now I think the next agenda item is I think we're done with the discussion items. So let's move on to the information items, or do we still need to discuss the data discussion?
No, all of the data is not unembargoed. The math data is to be set to be released Friday, and we will do data and strategic plan work in our next GoTeam meeting.
Okay, sounds good. So then, Ms. Brown, I'll hand it off to you for the principal's report and the information items section of the business meeting notes.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Principal Brown,
Yes,
just a clarification. It's only the math data that's embargoed.
that
So
is correct.
if you wanted, you could cover the
Right.
others, and then that's milestones. And then there's also the map data.
Right, so when we have data discussions, I like to triangulate all the data that we have.
Okay,
I like to
that's fine.
look, see similarities and differences so we can set those strategic
All right,
action steps for next year all together.
sounds like a
It's
good
just,
plan.
you're not remembering anything. And we already have a protocol for that ready to go.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, let's see what I have. Oh, we've got leveling and budget adjustments. So as you see that huge number down there, we had projected enrollment of 439. We hit 453, the difference of 14 children. 14 children do not bring you $300,000. The way that broke out to be is we received an additional $70,000 for the children, and then our reserves were released at which was $46,000, and then we had a Title I adjustment because of the census and the way Toomer is sitting right on that edge of do we receive this full Title I allotment or not? It was decided with the federal funding team that we will receive that additional 146 along with additional $4,800 in family engagement, and that adds up to the $312,000. So now the question becomes, so now what? Well, now what is, because when we started the budget this year, I told everybody here that we did not have one single penny. And we didn't. So now we are buying paper and pencils and things like that. But we also are going to focus on the necessary media choices and digital textbooks. I've already spent several $1,000s on some digital tools that the team wanted, along with the two that are listed there. And then we are looking for a person of some sort who is going to help us actually set up our production studio. We just about have the space cleaned out. Katie met with one more person this past week. The funding is secure through the foundation, and we are just about ready to go. So now we're going to be able to add to that 10,000 and get some staff trained and students trained so that this becomes a fully working production studio. We also then will spend more money than I have categorized here on professional development. We have some people who are trying to get lined up to go to the reading conference. I also need to get at least one half of the school IB trained this year so that I can do the other half next year as we get ready for reauthorization. And IB training is quite expensive. And because we have this title windfall that I'm greatly appreciative of, I now can figure out how we're going to pay for that. As I was a little bit worried about it, but for some reason in school, the funds have always managed to show up for us. So I'm grateful for that. The additional funding, we have not yet identified how we're going to do that, as our kids and staff are well resourced. The leadership team is going to take that up. We have just finished finalizing what we're monitoring on our continuous improvement plan. And our next step is to identify how and where is the need for about $125,000. Once the leadership team gives me that, I will bring that back to y'all to keep you all in the loop. All right, the Title I holdback is about $5,000. We need about $15,000 to pay for things like literacy night. Don't know how much money Jamie has spent tonight. But spend it we did, and we have plenty of money now to fund our monthly family engagement pieces. Okay, personnel changes. I did have one personnel change in that we lost one DSE teacher, as our DSE count has decreased. Our predictions were much higher based on the children we identified. And it turns out that a big chunk of those are in other schools. So those didn't come to fruition. Some other non-personnel changes, again, is the money for IB. And then for teacher tutors during school hours for targeted small group instruction, that directly hits our school improvement plan, as we're working very hard at closing that gap. And then now I have the money for our after-school club salaries for staff and materials. I was going to beg, borrow, and steal that. Now I don't have to. We will use some of those funds for that. And I think that is it. I have this one announcement. This weekend, there is a GoTeam Summit that you're all invited to. It's over at Tuskegee Airmen, which is a beautiful school. Please join. If you notice, you'll be out before the major football game starts at 7:30. So please see about going and joining this group of hardworking people who advocate for our schools. One other announcement, please make sure you complete your IB budget training. And if you've done it once, you don't have to do it again. So I think, Ryan, that is you, and Miss Primrose, you would be the other one. It is on the website. I'm sure you've gotten an email about it. And I think that's my last slide. Yep. Any questions? Okay, Ryan, that is all I have.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Any questions about that presentation? Okay, hearing none, I'll go to the next item, which is the Cluster Advisory Team Report.
Hi, everyone. So, oh, Miss Brown.
No,
Okay.
you go ahead.
All right, Ms. Brown and I met last week for the cluster advisory team. We were just kind of going over what the gist is for the remaining of the year. We spoke with our new superintendent and heard his plans. The Jackson cluster listening session is actually tonight at 6 at Maynard Jackson High School, but they are offering other sessions in October and November. I think is his last one to go over his 100-day plan. But as the Jackson cluster team, we identified our two priorities for this school year. They're to promote and expand the Jackson cluster unity and pride. So doing our continued collaboration across the cluster and having at least one cluster-wide event. I know last year they did the arts event. And our second priority is to improve vertical alignment and collaboration across grade bands. So really that transition from 5th grade to 6th and our 8th grade to 9th. So increasing unity against the schools. And that is it.
Thank you so much, Emily. Any questions for Emily?
I do want to point out one change in the cluster team meetings that Emily might not be aware of is we used to meet just to ourselves, the 12 of us. We will now meet as a district-wide and then break off into our cluster. That will provide us some opportunities to cross-collaborate with other clusters in the district.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Okay. Not hearing any other questions, so I want to see if there's any other additional items that people want to bring up.
Really quickly, y'all, it has just been pointed out to me that if you plan to have students on your committee, you are probably going to benefit from having one staff person on there, because that way you're guaranteed that there is a staff member to help supervise, even though the committee members have to go through a background check. They're not allowed to be unsupervised with students. So the principal can automatically be on committees, or it can be the principal's representative, but you may just want to like really formalize that we're going to add the principal or principal representative on the committee, and then Principal Brown can, you know, if it is the Student Government Association sponsor or something like that, but at least then it's clearly spelled out that you will have a staff person present.
Yeah,
and
Jamie,
I apologize. That was you guys are the first team to not have staff clamoring to be on it. So
well, so Jamie's staff.
Yeah, I'm assistant principal here.
Is Jamie on it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jamie. I got
It's okay.
My apologies. I got confused as to who was on it, and it's also really confusing in that your screen name doesn't match the
I
rest.
don't know how to change it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Jamie, I was like, I was like, Kathy, I was like, yeah. All right, so we're good to go then with that. So we have, okay, perfect. And then, great. Any other announcements that we want to discuss? I'm sorry, any other information items we want to discuss today?
Is there any sort of releases or anything that would need to be created to authorize any students to join this committee?
Sean, thank you for that question. We automatically get parents' permission anytime we have students participate in something outside the typical academic structure.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean. Any other items? Okay, moving right along. So I think in the next part of the script, there's something about public comment, but I don't believe that's something that we're doing today, correct? Perfect. And then does anyone have any announcements they would like to make to the team? Okay, so we've reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Perfect, thank you. All opposed, please raise your hand or say aye. Anyone abstaining? Okay, meeting is adjourned.